Right, we are now beginning our left turn to heading of 180. I'm going to decrease speed to about 20 RPM and descend and maintain 2,500 feet. Slowing the aircraft down for landing soon is a good idea, as there is a lot to do when coming in for an ILS approach. Going to maintain 90 knots at this time, and then when we come in for the ILS landing we'll decrease speed steadily. Okay, as you can see from the GPS we are quite close to the ILS. If I zoom in to 5 nautical miles, yep, we are very close to the airport ILS now. Gonna give it about 11 minutes, and then we are going to make a level left turn to heading of 120 and intercept the ILS from there. As you can see, we're being bumped around a little bit here. This is why we are using the ILS for the approach and the autopilot to help stabilize the aircraft in weather like this. It's always a good idea to use the autopilot if you are not that well trained for using in bad weather, unlike myself. Okay, let's have a look at the GPS. Yes, okay, it's time to make that left turn to heading of 120 to intercept the ILS approach now. As you can see, it's still raining and the fog has settled in. We got about 1 mile visibility of the runway and the airport. Okay, now we are going to line up with the runway of runway 09, and then we're going to make our descent. I'm going to add another degrees of flaps, it's 20 degrees now, and start slowing down to about 70 knots. We have clearance to land on runway 09, so we can go ahead and make a straight in approach. We are currently 6.4 nautical miles out of the runway here. Okay, now we're going to make our descent at roughly about 500 to 600 feet per minute. I'm going to decrease the RPM to roughly 16 to 17 RPM. That should keep us steady at about 65 knots for the approach. As you can see, it is quite difficult to land the aircraft without visibility, as you have no objects or anything you can see. You have to rely on your instruments. In some cases where the weather is good to make a visual approach, air traffic control would like us to make a ILS for unseen reasons. It could be that there's too much air traffic, or the runway isn't good for visual landing at the time. As you can see, the nav 1, which is this one here, you've got the horizontal and vertical needle. The horizontal needle lets us know if we are centre with the runway, or off to the left or off to the right. The vertical needle lets us know that if we are too low or too high for the runway. This is a good indication for the ILS approach. As you can see, I've turned the autopilot off, and I'm going to continue the landing manually, as it seems that the autopilot has failed in some sort of way. As you can see, we are a little low, so I'm going to level the aircraft off and wait for the vertical needle to center once again. We should see the runway threshold at roughly about 1 nautical mile out. If we don't, we are going to make an emergency take off again and go around and try again. Okay, as you can see, the vertical and horizontal are back on line with each other, so I'm going to continue the descent. When we are roughly about 50 feet from the runway, we are going to pull the throttle back to idle, and in other words, stall the aircraft. That way it's safe. At 50 feet the aircraft will just gently touch the wheels, the back wheels, on the ground. Okay, I have the runway in sight. Okay, as you can see, it's quite tricky in this type of weather to keep the horizontal vertical needle together. Just adding pitch, power and then trim will help the aircraft stabilize for the landing. As you can see, the wind has pushed me a little slightly over, so I'm counteracting with it, and we will be on the ground in just a minute. Okay, just about to come over the runway threshold here. With decreased power to idle and now flaring the aircraft for landing. There we go. After landing at the aircraft, just come to a complete stop like so. Add the parking brakes as necessary. Right, thank you for watching this short landing video. We do apologise for the weather. Unfortunately it's real world weather in the United Kingdom, and we obviously had a little bit of trouble there lining up the aircraft and some aircraft malfunctions, but as you can see, we have landed, and every landing is a good landing, as they say. So we thank you very much for watching the video, and if you would like to go ahead and watch the video for the visual approach, and more videos will be on the way.